This section is dealing with head shyness or head shy horse. There's several things that we really need to do, and it can make our job easier. First of all, understanding that we need some cues for it. We understand we have goals and starting places, all those things, and we're going to cover them real quick in this segment. But ideally, the first place to start would be in a round pen or a safe environment where you've taught your horse actually to turn and face you. You're not using a halter on him or anything on him. For sure, you do not want to work on a head shy horse while he is tied up. You have to have the lead rope on him and a halter, fine, but don't do anything more than that. And ideally, even in that case, if you think the horse might pull away from you, then you would want to do a bunch of exercises to teach the horse to lead better. Now, a funny thing about this is you can actually start with any other part of the horse, not with the horse's head. We could work on just teaching the horse, to turn and face us, or we could work on teaching the horse to back up. We can work on lots of different things, and that's really a good idea. That what you're trying to do is to get the horse to mind. And so get his mind off of his head and give him another job to do. Put the halter on him or the bridle on him and ask him to move his hips over. Or if you're working in the round pen, you take and work on inside turns, Work on something where you're actually getting the horse in the habit of minding. And once you do that, then you're much better off to go to an area of his body, whether it's his feet or his head or anything, and then work with that after you've got the horse really listening good and minding well, etc. If we start here, if we've got our horse to this point, that in teaching him a cue that no matter where he takes his head, that we can ask for it back. If preacher takes his head away, then the cue I want to use is kiss to him, etc., and say, give me your head. One of the first cues or first things to work on a head shy horse is to teach him to bring his head to you, whether it's loose or with a halter, but to bring his head to you. Then the next thing is to kind of understand, we've been taught that if a horse is head shy, that we should move real slow around him. Well, let's break that down. Let's say that our goal is to get our hands on his ears, and while our hand is on his ears, that he doesn't move his head. That's our goal. Well, would it be harder for the horse to hold his head still with my hand on his ear for 5 minutes or for 1 minute? Well, it'd be harder for 5 minutes, wouldn't it? Well, would it be harder for 1 minute or 30 seconds? Well, it'd be harder for 1 minute. Would it be harder for 30 seconds or 2 seconds? Well, harder for 30 seconds. So the longer I put my hand here, the harder it is for the horse. Well, the slower I move my hand, that means the longer I'm trying to get the horse to stand still and hold his head still while I'm taking my hands up there. So actually, what I need to do is speed my hands up. So one of the fun things that we can do, is the object actually is to, we can start here by teaching him to bring his nose to us, and then once he brings his nose to us, then we can touch his forehead, let's say. All right here. Well, at that point, what I want to do is I want to take my hand over his ears as fast as my hands can move. So I'm going to go from here to there. Now, what's going to happen with the head shy horse, he's going to throw his head up. But it's too late. My hand has already been there and gone before he actually moved his head. And so then what happens is pretty soon he figures that out. Now, does the horse want to throw his head? Well, I don't think so. We say that he wants to. He doesn't want to. If you think the horse wants to throw his head, stand here with your head and just throw it like this for 5 minutes and see if it doesn't give you a headache. He doesn't want to throw his head, so I can use that to my advantage. If I know that he doesn't want to throw his head, I don't have to make him not throw his head. All I have to do is show him that my hand doesn't hurt. So I pet him here, I take my hand over his head as quickly as I can, and then he throws it up. No problem. Pet him, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. And pretty soon, in about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes at the most, he's not throwing his head up. Well, at that point, I can start slowing my hands down. Now, as I slow my hands down, then I'm actually reaching my goal, which is to have my hands on his ears longer.